Hello everyone. So in this video, we are going to discuss about elements of phonetics. So we know that, in a pedagogy or English methodology, we have one chapter related to phonetics. So we shall start with the phonetics topic now. Phonetics. Phonetics is the study of the production and perception of speech sounds. So the meaning of phonetics is study of production as well as perception of speech sounds. It concerned with the sounds of language. So it's concerned with sounds of language and how these sounds are articulated and how the hearer perceives them. So it is phonetics is concerned with what sounds of language and how these sounds are articulated and how the hearer perceives them. Phonetics is related to the science of acoustics in that it uses much the same techniques in the analysis of sound that acoustic does. So here phonetics is related to what here science of acoustics in that it uses much the same techniques in the analysis of sound that acoustic does. So there are three subdisciplines of phonetics. So what are they? First one is the articulatory phonetics, acoustic phonetics and auditory phonetics. So what is the meaning of articulatory phonetics? So here what is the meaning of articulatory phonetics? The production of speech sound is articulatory phonetics. The production of speech sounds is called as a articulatory phonetics. And acoustic phonetics, study of the physical production and transmission of speech sounds. Acoustic phonetics is a study of the physical production and transmission of speech sounds. Auditory, study of the perception of speech sounds. Auditory phonetics means study of the perception of speech sounds. Phonology. So what is phonology? Phonology is the study of the sound pattern of language. Phonology is the study of the sound pattern of language. So sound pattern, we know that. It is concerned with how sounds are organized in a language. So it is also concerned with what? How sounds are organized. In the previous phonetics is what? How sounds are articulated and how the hearer perceives them. And here phonology examines what occurs to speech sounds when they are combined to form a word and how these speech sounds interact with each other. So phonology examines what occurs to speech sounds and when they are combined to form a word, how these speech sounds interact with each other. It endeavors to explain what these phonology process are in terms of formal rules. A diagrammatic representation of the phonological levels and classes is presented as follows. So we have one diagrammatic representation. We have one diagrammatic representation of the phonological levels and the classes, which is presented as follows. So here, if you divide, phonology is divided into segmental phonology and suprasegmental phonology. Segmental phonology and suprasegmental phonology, and segmental phonology again divided into vowels and consonants. Vowels are divided into monophthongs, diphthongs, and triphthongs. And the consonants are divided into voiced and voiceless. Consonants are divided into voiced and voiceless. Suprasegmental phonology. So stress, rhythm, intonation. So this suprasegmental phonology is divided into stress, rhythm, and intonation. And stress is related to syllable and rhythm is related to food. Intonation is related to tone group. So morphology. And next topic is morphology. What is morphology? Morphology is the branch of linguistic. Morphology is the branch of linguistic that studies the structure and formation of words. And it focuses on understanding of how words are created and modified. How words are created and modified and how they convey meaning. So in morphology, the smallest units of meaning in a language are called morphemes. So this is very, very important. In morphology, smallest units of meaning. Smallest units of meaning in a language are called as a morphemes. So the key concepts in morphology are morphemes. The smallest units of meaning. Smallest units of meaning are grammatical function in a language is called morphemes. Smallest units of meaning and grammatical function in a language is called as a morphemes. And morphemes can be words themselves or parts of words. So the morphemes can be words themselves or parts of words. There are two main types of morphemes. There are two main types of morphemes. They are free morphemes and bound morphemes. So free morphemes, these can stand alone as a words and have meaning. So free morphemes can stand alone as words and have meaning independently. Example, book, run, and happy. So these words stand alone and it can be independent. Coming to the bound morpheme, this cannot stand alone and must be attached to other morpheme. So bound morpheme should be attached to other morphemes. Like example, they include prefix, suffix, and infixes. Example, un in unhappy, s in cats, and ed in walked. So these are the bound morphemes examples. And coming to the types of bound morphemes. So bound morphemes divided into again inflectional morphemes and derivational morphemes. These inflectional morphemes and derivational morphemes comes under bound morphemes. So these morphemes modify a word to express a grammatical relationships. These morphemes modify a word to express grammatical relationships, such as such as tense, number, or possession, without changing the word's core meaning or part of speech. So what is inflectional morphemes? So these morphemes modify a word to express a grammatical relationships such as tense, number, or possession, without changing the word's core meaning or part of speech. Example, S for plurals. Example, cat is a morpheme, free morpheme. So here what happened? S is added here, cats. For example, ed is added for what? Past tense. Walked. Walk is a independent, free morpheme, but here ed is what? Bound morpheme. So these are called inflectional. Ing is what? Continuous tense. Run is a free morpheme. Here ing is added here, running. So this is called inflectional. So what is derivational morphemes? These morphemes change the meaning or part of speech of a word, often creating a new word entirely. Example, happy changes to unhappy. Happy changes to happiness. And teach changes to teacher. So here what is happening? Derivational morphemes change the meaning or part of speech. These morphemes modify a word to express grammatical relationships. Here grammatical relationships will change. Only tense, number, or possession will change. That's it. But the word meaning will not change. Or part of speech will not change. So that is called derivational morphemes. And allomorph, variations of morpheme that have the same functions but different pronunciation or spelling. For example, the plural morpheme s in English can be pronounced as s, z, or z, depending on the word. Example, cats, dogs, horses. So here the same s sound is giving in different way. So one letter is one, alphabet is one, but soundings are different. So these variations of morpheme is called allomorphs. So variations of morpheme is called as a allomorph. So there will be a difference in pronunciation or spelling. So word formation process. Affixation. Affixation is what? Adding prefixes or suffixes to base words. Example, re in redo. Do is a word. So we added here re. So then what happened? We added here prefix. And joy is a word. We added full. So joyful. Here prefix suffix we added. And compounding. Compounding means combining two or more free morphemes. Example, note is a morpheme, free morpheme. Book also free morpheme. So these two will be added, means combined. Then this is called as a compounding. Reduplication. Repeating a morpheme or a part of it change the meaning. This is common in some languages, though not typical in English. And blending. Blending means combining parts of two words to create a new one. Example, brunch. And from breakfast and lunch. Breakfast and lunch, these two words will be blended as a brunch. And clipping. Clipping means shortening a longer word. Shortening a longer word. Example, gymnasium is in short called as a gym. And information is in short called as a info. And coming to acronyms and abbreviations, using initial letters to create new words. Example, NASA is there. NASA is what? It has abbreviation. And as soon as possible. We write acronym as a ASAP. ASAP, ASAP. So NASA. So these are the examples. And lexical and functional morphemes. Lexical morphemes, these are content words that carry specific meaning. So lexical morphemes means these content words that carries the specific meaning, such as nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. So book, run, happy. So these are called content words or lexical morphemes. And coming to the functional morphemes, these provide grammatical structures such as conjunctions, prepositions, articles, and auxiliary verbs. And in, the, is. So these are all called as a functional morphemes. Lexical morphemes are content words which carries a specific meaning. And functional morphemes, these provide grammatical structures such as conjunctions, preposition, articles, and auxiliary verbs. So this is about today's topic.